Yo, we gotta talk about this. I feel like there's a major problem with the Suns and nobody's really talking about it. So let's get into it today. The Suns are really at risk of losing their former overall pick. Even though he hasn't been performing the way they wanted him to in the Mavericks series, only averaging 15 points, 8 rebounds, and 1 assist, in a series where he really should have been dominating, I think that they need to re-sign him and bring him back because he just has so much more potential. And he's only playing like this because he doesn't get as many touches I think he deserves. He's a third option on the team, which I really feel like he needs to be the second option. And Chris Paul takes a step back. Ayton only really gets his points off when he gets a pick and roll or they dump it off to him. The result of Ayton's performance alongside with the team's performance caused Monty Williams and DeAndre Ayton to have a verbal altercation after Monty Williams pulled Ayton in Game 7. And Ayton had a total of 17 minutes the whole game. And then later, it came out, people were saying that they were chirping at each other alongside the bench and they had words exchanged with each other. And Monty, after the game in the interview, he said that Ayton's problems were internal. And you could just see that there was some type of major altercation there that hindered their relationship. But I still think that that relationship can be rekindled and fixed. They just have to work with Ayton and show him more appreciation. But the problem with this whole situation is it seems like the Suns want to move off of DeAndre Ayton, and it doesn't seem like DeAndre Ayton wants to stay in Phoenix. But the Suns can't afford to lose DeAndre Ayton for nothing, because if they get nothing in return for him, it'll only be Booker and CP3. And CP3 is already on the back end of his career. So in 2 or 3 years, when he either majorly declines or retires, it's just going to be Devin Booker and maybe Mikal Bridges. And I don't think that's enough for the team to really be able to compete. So the team's going to go back to being bad. And I feel like Booker's going to be tired of it and decide to want to request a trade and get off of this team. And you simply can't afford that. While if you re-sign DeAndre Ayton, he can come back for like a 4 or 5 year contract. Chris Paul dwindles out, but you still have Ayton on that team. All you'd have to do is get another point guard, and then also I believe that Ayton in that time, he'll improve because every year we see Ayton play, he improves every single year. And I believe he will improve, and he'll be a real second option on this team, and he'll get his well-needed touches, and he's a two-way player. He can play pretty good defense at the rim. He finishes great. I just think he needs to work on some of his aggressiveness, but other than that, I think Ayton's a great player on offense. So I think they just need to bring him back, because if they don't, they try and do a sign and trade deal with the Pacers, they're gonna end up with Miles Turner, who fits the team better, but he's a much worse talent and he's never healthy. So I just think bringing back Ayton in all aspects of the game is just a better option. I believe Ayton, if he reaches his full potential, could be a 25 points, 10 rebounds, and 2 assists type big man. But not when he's the third option. When he's the third option, I can only see him averaging about 18 points per game and 10 rebounds. But this whole situation isn't just one-sided. DeAndre Ayton himself needs to improve in this certain aspect of when he goes to the rim, he's not as aggressive as he needs to be. He's more of a Hakeem-type player where he tries to use finesses and footwork, which is good. But you also need to be more aggressive. You're a 7-foot big man. You weigh 250 pounds. Have a long wingspan. You have to abuse that. You have to kind of play like Giannis. Back down in the paint. Dunk the ball and not always try and do a finesse layup. So if he can integrate more of a Shaq-type play alongside his Hakeem-type play, I think he's just going to go to a whole nother level in this league. He'll easily be a top 5 big man in this league. Not a debate at all. And the Suns will go a lot further if he can play more aggressive. But to recap everything, if I was the Suns GM, I would re-sign DeAndre Ayton so I can later keep him and use him as a second option. Or if need be and he doesn't fit the team, I can trade him at a later date. And I know the Suns are trying to get into this Nets sweepstake, but even if in there thinking if you re-sign DeAndre Ayton, you can't send him to the Brooklyn Nets because you can't have 2 max players on their rookie contract. But what you can do is send Ayton to a third team when he's eligible to be traded and still potentially get Kevin Durant. So I just think that they need to bring him back no matter what. To either trade him or keep him and rebuild the team when Chris Paul dwindles out. But that's just my thoughts. That's just my take. NBA Sphinx, out.